No, I think that's really true. And I don't think it's just like, I think it's a generational thing, but I also think that there's a lot more at stake and at play when it comes to the conversations of our evolution as parents and then our children's evolution into their state of purpose. Cause I have found that it's a very big conversation. But then I think back through like the Purpose Driven Life, that was a book. I don't even know when that book was written, maybe in the 90s, maybe in the 80s. Such a number one bestseller for so long. And so I feel like everybody's always clawing or trying to understand, what is my purpose here on earth? What is my time meant to be doing? How can I help and change the lives of others? What's that legacy look like? And when I think about legacy in comparison to, not in comparison, but in connection to laughter, I mean, a joke lasts forever. Like, I think it's one of those things you pass down to your children, your children's children are doing it, right? Like, there's certain little sayings, even like six and seven may break your bones, but words will never hurt me. Like, where did that come from? And how did that, of all things, like catch on? And so I think what you do through words, both in music and in comedy, is magical. I think it's so necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's a really cool art that I'm really trying to find my place in, and I've been lucky enough to kind of bridge the gap. Like a lot of my colleagues are specifically in comedy clubs, but I've been able to do these speaking gigs. I've been able to take the comedic part of it and really offer value in a speaking platform. So with the TED Talk, with your event in Kentucky, I've done others in between those, and that's my favorite thing to do because it's more of a conversation rather than someone for hire just to specifically entertain. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Your one song that you sang about like we're not free. It strikes home because I think through the amount of times that I've like knocked on a friend's door and like, hey, do you want to play? Right. And I think of it as like a, hey, Tamra, would you come and speak? And I'm like, absolutely. Hey, Tamra, would you come and dance? Sure, let's play. Like all of those things. But when it comes down to like actually being able to sustain a lifestyle, sustain a family, sustain all of the components, like you can't tap into somebody's gifts and talents consecutively without understanding their value and worth connected to that. And value and worth is not always just displayed in the exchange of money. But I think that there's a big component of my friends who are artists, who are that starving artist rather than the balanced artist perspective. How do you help, and have you helped or supported artists moving from I am on the couch or couch surfing or I can't get a gig to actually being able to convert a little bit more in that realm?
Yeah, I've shifted their mindset from, because I was once there. I needed to make a living, so I'd be in pubs 7 days a week until 2 in the morning, sitting on a bar stool trying to entertain these people. And the next morning, you'd wake up, and the last thing you want to do is write a song or have the energy to do anything. But the mentality back then is like, if I get a real job, then I'm a sellout. I'm not a real artist. So if you think about it differently, if you get a job that's, it's not going to like, Re- um, what's that guy's name? Alan Einstein. He used to work in a patent office all day because it was just a very linear job. He didn't have to do much thinking. He just kind of put in his time to get his paycheck so that he could afford to do his science experiments at night and invent the whatever he invented. So and I managed to do that myself with this software gig. It's like I did it for so long that it's unconscious to me, and so now I'm able to self-fund like a better life than a starving artist. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
no, and I love that. Like the bankroll and the sponsor. I love those two words that you're using. And I think it's an antithesis, honestly, to how I'll coach often, because I will see people in that experience of what they're doing, whether it's 9 to 5. It's easy to for everybody to understand when I say it's 9 to 5, but it could be a bar job. I was a bartender and cocktail waitress for a long time. So I understand. And I also understand the cash flow that can be associated to those things with it, which then keeps you comfortable that you never step out in faith towards what could become. And so I will be with people and we'll be talking about like how they're terribly hating waking up to even go to those things. And I think there's a variable in what you're saying. You're doing something that actually you enjoy. Imagine the information that Einstein got in those patents, in those projects, of looking at all of the paper that was coming through that then could be applied to what it is that he was doing. And so I feel like I don't want to see people sitting miserable in their existence or their time. I want them to stand in that purpose and feel free doing it. But I know that it takes money to develop these ideas and these conferences and these gigs and the things that when you create your own stage or your business. And so I think that it's just a really much safer, probably way, and also a strategic way to actually show up in all of your strengths, because you can have a job that's 9 to 5 that's tapping into another realm and not necessarily what you dream of doing for the rest of your life.